the art of murder be the next big thing? But first, let me start off this video with a little background. From the inception of the internet, animation has always managed to find a home online. Such examples throughout the internet's history can date back to the 90s with Jesus vs. Frosty, which would eventually be South Park, and the Newgrounds Flash animation era of the 2000s, with such classics as Homestar Runner or Sonic and Friends at Chaos High. Did anyone else watch that, or was it just me? Anyways, as of recent, web animation in the 20s has managed to explode itself into the mainstream, with shows like Hazbin Hotel being picked up by big-name studios like Amazon and A24, and the amazing Digital Circus experiencing such a sudden burst in popularity that people made knockoff merch before the studio managed to make actual merch. I mean, for God's sakes, I just saw them having Pomni costumes at Spirit Halloween. With the floodgates opening for more and more web animation as the medium becomes more mainstream, the question that everyone is asking is, what would be the next big thing? Who would sit on the Iron Throne? Who would be Hokage? You know what I mean. Now let me preface this by saying I'm not in the business of saying X show is better than Y. I don't have the energy for it. At this point, I get headaches just from hearing the Goku versus Saitama argument. But I think I found the next big indie animation, that being The Art of Murder by Chalk Chip Animation Studios. A part mystery, part parody, part musical, independent animated series. To be honest, I've been following its production on TikTok since last year, and I was curious to see it come to life, as I've always been a fan of new independent animation projects, and also because I was attracted to the cast of different cartoon characters and seeing how they would interact with each other, much like Drawn Together, even though I knew it would probably lack the edginess of lines such as,
"Silly black people, they always think they can accomplish everything by just sitting around."
or
Hot topic! They got everything a suicidal preteen could want. Except for parents who listen.
or oh shit, that's an actual tweet Tara Strong like, my god. Yeah, let's just discuss the plot of the show. Spoilers from here on out. If you want to watch the actual cartoon, I highly suggest it. Otherwise, let's continue. The episode's timeline begins with a little girl named Pip drawing her favorite characters in her sketchbook, along with a new character while facing that ever-frustrating problem of drawing hands. Why? Why can't we all be Horikoshi? Anyways, Pip goes to sleep, and when the clock hits that midnight hour, the characters in the sketchbook come to life. We got Win, a zany Adventure Time-esque cartoon character played by Megan Lee, Princess Almond Blossom, or Albie for short, played by Lauren Lopez, a 2D Disney-esque princess, but instead of being a damsel or wielding healing hair powers, she wields the power of a Wharton MBA with a concentration in entrepreneurship, ready to girl boss her way into the sun. Sosuke, played by Joey Bassinger, aka the Anime Man, a Sasuke parody who only speaks in Japanese, edgy Japanese. Giorgio, played by Joey Richter, a detective from a dating sim who is basically Nicholas Galatzin's character from Bottoms, but without the sexism. By the way, did you know that Joey Richter was a cop from Jessie? TBH, I knew him from The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals by Star Kid. Fun musical I highly recommend. And last but not least, the new character that Pip was drawing earlier, played by Lizzie Freeman of amazing Digital Circus fame, not hailing from any IP, but rather her imagination, with the crew bestowing him the name of OC, standing for original character. The rest of the characters sing a fun little introductory ditty on what life is like as characters Pip loves, but soon jealousy and paranoia over OC being favored over them by Pip starts to seep into their minds. The next morning, the characters wake up finding themselves in some very bizarre circumstances. Win is covered in water, Sosuke is covered in mud, and most importantly, OC has been ripped from his page. The characters soon start accusing one another of being the killer because they feared of being replaced by OC due to them belonging to older franchises, due to him being a detective and being the last one to wake up, therefore giving him an alibi. Giorgio takes the lead on the case. Going by the theory of whoever woke up first being the killer, the characters soon start calling each other sus again.
It was truly more sus than a character from Among Us.
Until Giorgio calls for orders so they could find OC before Pip wakes up. Out of respect, the rest of them settle down, and in the door walks the first clue, Pip's dog covered in mud and paper, pointing to Sosuke as the true Sussy Baka. Now that explanation is out of the way, let's get into what I enjoyed. As previously stated, I enjoy when completely different characters go out of their way to interact. In fact, I don't remember who said it, but the key to a great story isn't just a great world or themes, but by having great characters. They would be interesting to care about and pay attention to no matter what narrative. That's why AUs are so fun. If it's the Wild West or 80s Wall Street, the audience just wants to sit back and enjoy the ride. I also really enjoyed the songs. This would sound kind of dumb, but I enjoy when a musical feels like a musical. Let me explain.
You know, my favorite thing about the movie is like it feels like a movie. It feels like a real, like, you know, go to the theater film movie that, you know, you kind of, the reason why you go to watch something on the big screen.
With projects like Mean Girls, the new one, not the good one, they feel like they have to hide that they are musicals, as there's a certain connotation associated with it. With animation, however, musicals have always managed to find a way to mix together, as they are both mediums that tend to be disregarded and underlooked, but they also feel like they don't have to hide what they are for broad appeal. After all, what would Frozen be without Let It Go? But besides the musical part, let's discuss the mystery part. I thought it would be more like a typical Sherlock Holmes story, looking at clues and then arriving at full conclusions with minimum effort, thanks Moffat. But it appears that it would take more of a Rashomon approach, which makes sense as nearly all the characters are unreliable, so the truth would come out between commonalities within the narratives. I think it also works as we get to see more of what each character is like, personality-wise, and how they perceive the world around them. I don't think it's Albie, most likely to commit insider trading on pharmaceutical companies for an American hedge fund manager who made millions off of COVID. Yes, murderer? No. Shout out to Industry Bro. Totally underrated show. Harper Stern did nothing wrong 2024. But back to the discussion, I think that the one thing I didn't like was how quickly everyone turned on OC. I get that they wanted to establish motive, but it felt rushed, and I think they could have saved it for each character's episode, as we could go into detail about possible motives along with a character's study. I mean, it's still a pilot after all, it's in its minimum viable product stage, but overall, I still really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend watching it. Go Chalk Chip Animation Studios. Let me know if you enjoyed this video and drop a like, comment, or subscribe. I'll see you soon. Peace.